Check, check. This is Mrs. Parquet, president of the Parquet Racing Fan Club. We're about to talk about the Nations Cup. Let's get into it.
Yee! Hopping into the beginning of the session, just getting some practice laps out the way because I've been racing in the NRL mostly these past couple of weeks. Haven't done too many online lobbies, so it's a bit of a jump back into the fray as I knocked down a 49.3 there, feeling a bit slow going into the qualifying session, but still knocking some cobwebs off, if you will. Slowly but surely working myself up into speed. Just finished a 48.9 on the previous lap, hoping to improve on that a little bit as we come into turn one, getting the Ferrari down in the second gear, a bit of trail braking, and getting the car pointed straight for a nice exit. I feel like the Ferrari was really nice in the curves and all the turns on this track. The straight was a different story with the Lamborghini being running amok as the meta car. It was a little bit tough fighting with them down there, but I definitely felt competitive in the, I'll call it the infield section here, using the full track on the exit here in the third gear. Fast forwarding to the beginning of sector 3, this was my weakest sector for the session. The twisty-turvy, the twisty-turny nature of it just really was giving me some issues. I couldn't throw that Ferrari around it like I wanted to, but we'll see how fast I end up going once we hop into races. But first, we're going to play the Nations Cup theme song. Play the music now. Doesn't that music just get you ready to race? It does for me. Anyways, shout out to the fan club again. Looking at the grid, we see Lamborghinis all over the place. I'm gonna stay off meta with the Ferrari. We'll be doing that all video, race 1 of 3. I get a pretty good start off the line, and the name of the game going into T1 is, you guessed it, don't get killed. Trying to avoid the dive bomb of all dive bombs, so decided to try to stay on the outside, stay out the mess, and it seemed like that was a prudent decision. If we take a look back here, you can see somebody already going right into a straight as the first pack forms. Unfortunately, I'd be joining our friend in the wall coming here into lap 2. I just tried to put my nose up the inside and kablammy. That incident, find myself in the back of the pack now, fighting with fingers for P14. They're able to bump me out the way and get it done. I come right back at them, nipping up the inside. We're just ego challenging each other at this point, wasting all the time. Time doesn't exist when you're in the back of the pack though, so it's okay. And at this point in the session, it's really, we're just trying to get some good practice laps in for, the next time slot. Me and Finger still having a bit of a duel, so I decide to clumsily bang up against barrier before going to see the Ferrari boys and girls in the pit, and they're gonna get me new boot goofing. Actually, we're gonna be old boot goofing. I'm not doing gas or tires. We're just gonna stop in and say hello before we get back out there. And now, thankfully, I'm in some clean air. Stayed in some clean air for 6 laps. Fast forwarding here to lap 9. We're behind Dark Cobra here, and I'm really not messing around. I'm going for the move there. Big lunge, didn't quite make it work. They were able to keep the speed around the outside, but now it's a drag race. You can see here, this is where the Ferrari really struggles. Doesn't really have the legs to keep up with the Lamborghinis down the straight, so I hop into the slipstream, kiss the back of the bumper, and gain as much free time as I possibly can. Here on lap 10, going into T1, me and Dark Cobra, I'm going to try to not fight it too much, give him some room. I get a little lucky there, he misses the braking point a little bit, overcooks it, and I'm able to pull off a bit of a switcheroo up the inside. Skipping ahead a bit to lap 14. By this moment, Fingers has caught up to me, and again, that Lamborghini just leaving me down the straight. So if I don't get a perfect exit, I'm kind of cooked. Coming into T1, I kind of fat finger the gearing there and mess it up. So Fingers is able to hold their position in P8. I'm not in clean air like I want to be, but it was all good. Not much happened up until the end. I was able to hop over a couple of more people and ultimately finishing respectable P6. But that was race 1. Here we go with race 2. This time around, I didn't qualify as well. You can see I'm starting in P8 for this race. I'm on the inside, which definitely scares me a lot. I'm hoping everybody behind me hits their braking points appropriately. No incidents to report, so it seemed like everybody was able to do so here. So shout out to everybody in this race. The exit out of turn 2 is pretty solid for me. I'm up a position in P7, so pretty happy how things are going this far. I'm also not in the wall, so that helps, but it wouldn't be long until, again, the Fray catches me. Redemption just gives me a bit of a pit maneuver there. I go, spin cycle move, and then I'm into P11. Fast forwarding a bit here to lap 11 now. Find myself up in P8, getting to do some laps unbothered in the clean air definitely is a big help and a huge key for this race. Actually, it's really all about the strategy of not losing too much time fighting with your peers. As we come along here to lap 13, by this point I'm in P6. All of these overtakes have happened off track. You can see LOL and Bardock, our friend from earlier on in the video, diving into the pits there. And like I said, all the overtakes were really able to happen while people were in the pit lane. So I know there was a lot of time being lost definitely amongst everybody. Jostling for position, everybody's ego challenging each other through every turn. And, that ultimately is bad for them and good to me. Coming up on winning time at this point. 3 more laps to go. I find myself in P5, slotted behind LOL like I mentioned. Pretty good exit, but just getting a bit wide out of turn 2 there, and the stewards will not be playing that. These stewards definitely feel a little bit more, not got time for Parquet's foolishness. I'll tell you that. And that ultimately kind of puts a damper on not all of my progress, but most of it. Bardock's able to drive right by me, lose another spot right there to Kevin. Hi, Kevin. And me and Kevin actually got into a bit of a situation on the final lap here. I feel like I tried to stay on the inside there a little bit, but a little bit of contact. They go off the track there and pick up a penalty by hitting the Ballard, and I feel like they may have blamed me for that. A little bit of turn in action on me. I try to keep it around the outside. They're not having it. They hop on the brakes there, hit me in the back, or I hit them in the back, but they're, you see them just doing some real strange behavior here. I think they're trying to keep P4. I don't really know why. They had a half-second penalty, so they're either going to serve it and I'm going to take it, which is exactly what happens here. Or they would have finished the race. I was within a second, I would have had it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about with the, being into the fray and not racing with people you can necessarily trust. But we ended up racing P4. Going into the last race, I decided it's time to gain a couple of tenths. Let's go ahead and put some new paint, new livery. That's always worth, 4 or 5 seconds for sure. Also noticed my oil was a little bit worn, so maybe that's worth another couple of tenths in terms of the overall performance. I guess we shall see. And shall see we did. Going into the practice before the last race of the video, and now my times are into the 47s, low 47s. So I'm cooking with gas. I'm able to carry that performance into the actual qualifying session itself. You see right now I'm sitting up there on the pole. She's in love with that pole. Y'all don't remember that song, I'm sorry. Yeah, on the pole right now. Captain J able to take it away from me, but even the fact I'm in the low 48s right now, that could just show you what, there's no secret. The secret's in the sweat. You're not really going to get faster in driving or in life. You're not going to get better anything in life. You gotta practice. You gotta practice. The more you practice, the better you'll be. Deciding to take this corner in second gear this time. I usually do it in third, but on this specific lap I did it in second gear for rotation, foot to the floor. Down here in the sector 2, we are 2/10 slow there, so we're still pretty much even. Need a big sector 3 here if we want to improve. Again, this being one of my weaker sectors. Really don't know what's going to happen coming up onto through the chicane into this weird left-hander. You really got to maybe kind of hit 50% brakes, let the car breathe, get on the power pretty early though. Use the whole track there. There's a couple of different lines you can take through this final turn. I found that that kind of middle line was a little bit better for this Ferrari, and because of that I'm able to get a pretty good exit out of there, get my feet to the floor again, and try to bring this thing home. I'm in P3 right now, so I'm really not too pressed on needing to get too big of an improvement. That was good enough for a provisional P2, but since I was one of the first around the track, everybody else has to cross the line. Ultimately, do bring it home in P3, all good. But before we start, I wanted to point this out. You can see Captain J has 72 points currently, but if we take a quick look at the points table, there's only 69 available. So basically, you're getting punished for playing, friend. Anyways, let's play the music and get into race 3. Here we go, the final race, final time slot of the night. It's all or nothing, do it or don't. Put up or shut up time. This is for all of the Cheetos, or the Skittles, or the popcorn. Whatever you want it to be, it's for all of it. Coming into turn 1 here, Love Live. Really putting a nice move up the inside on our captain there, and taking over P1. I'm safely into P4 at this point. Foyt's trying to do a little move up the inside. I let him go, having flashbacks from race 1. He actually has a little bit of contact with our TCR friend there, and I'm able to take advantage of that. They kind of fall back into P4. We're going to see if I can keep the position around the outside here, going into turn 3. Not really able to, kind of a weak exit. And now, lo and behold, we are going to be 3 abreast coming into the beginning of sector 3 here. Hitting on the anchors, I give Love Live a little bit of a tap there. I don't really know what happened. I want to say I got hit from behind, but probably, again, a skill issue. And because of that, I am officially in the aforementioned Fray. So, as you all know, Gran Turismo online lobbies are definitely not the cleanest racing, and you can see here Apex Exploiter just exploiting me out of my position. They're just disgusting stuff. I get hit from the back there, and now I'm hitting a spaceship sturdy can face. And in the matter of just a couple of turns, I'm now in P8. I know not to fret though. Diving into the pits early again will get me out of all of that foolishness and into some clean air. We'll be able to just fight it out lap time by lap time, pace for pace. We'll just see who's the fastest as I cruise out of the pits here. Me and RRC forming a dynamic duo. They and the Aston Martin, the non-meta twins, I'll call us. Shout out to you, RRC. Fast forward into lap 12, you can see I was able to put in some pretty consistent laps. A little bit of 49s, a little bit of 48s, keeping everything pretty low. By this time, I'm up in P4, so I've jumped a lot of people in the pits. And here we go into the final turn. Captain J diving into the pits there. I probably won't be able to catch him, but luckily for me, we can see Love P2 diving in. So this position should be mine, all mine by the time we're to the end of this straight. We have Mac Boland about a second behind us, so we're in a pretty comfortable little cushion. Actually, all the top three are in the pits there for a little bit, able to take P2 by the time I'm at the end of the straight, and now it's just time to chase Captain J. Again, the clean air is such a cheat code, not even on this race, but in all racing. If you can ever find yourself in some clean air for a pit stop or whatever, I would implore you please to do it, because it's just going to make your race so much more efficient. Ultimately, I'm able to, not too much drama, bring it home. La Ferrari Grande Macchina P2, able to bring it home in a nice P2. Got some nice Nations Cup points. So I'll be trying to compete in every round that I can over this next month or so here, to see if I can bring home a win for Arc Data Studios. Of course, shout out to the company that pays me. Ultimately, third place in Houston right now, 22nd in Texas. Again, 66 points. We'll see how round 2 goes. This was a blast. Catch y'all on the next one. Goodbye.